Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Danny Britt Show. Kevin Thomas and the head coach of the BC Cadets, Danny Britt, joining you live once again from BowTie Barbecue here on Waters as the Cadets now enter their off week after a big win over Hebron Christian a week ago there at Memorial Stadium. And Coach, again, you enter the off week and right in the middle of the season. I know coaches have different thoughts about when you want the off week, but right in the middle always seems to work out pretty good.
Yeah, this is actually perfect. I feel like, and we've had some crazy off weeks, the second week of the season or whatever, and that really doesn't help. But here it was very much needed, and it comes right in between, the preseason, as we call it, the non-region games, and our region schedule. So this hits perfectly, and we're trying to use it appropriately.
Again, game last week against Hebron Christian. You guys pulled it out there in the second half. First half, kind of mistakes of your own doing, or just not cashing in some opportunities that you have. Otherwise, the score could have looked a little different. I know we talked about going into the Ware game, kind of the sloppiness of play at times against Westminster, and then you come out and then kind of give away some opportunities early against Hebron Christian.
Yeah, we did. We came out. I was concerned with that all week. It's so hard to come off of a game like against Ware, where the energy was just so unbelievable. And we came out and actually, moved the ball well, but we missed a short field goal, which we've got to correct. And then we fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line there. DeBerry Green was just trying to reach in, but we've got to learn, that in the middle of the pile like that, that's not the time to do it. Keep the ball close. And then we had, could have done something different the next down. So we'll learn from it. And in the second half, we came out and did what we were supposed to do.
You mentioned field goal, getting that issue correct. Connor's done a good job, certainly, on getting the balls kicked off. But is it a little bit like golf where you miss one 5-foot putt, now you're thinking about it, and it becomes the kind of the thought in your head until you finally put one through the uprights?
I think so. I mean, part of that is with my philosophy and the high school philosophy we've tried some really long field goals, and I don't think that got in his head. As I talked to him and explained it and said, that's why we're doing it. No, I get it. A 52-yard field goal is tough. He's got the leg. Right. He can do it, but it's tough. That also, it was at I think the 4 yard line on the right hash. It's a horrible angle. So I get all that. We got to make it though. We got to put it between the sticks. So yes, you're right. Some of that is it, and we've got to correct it.
And then shut them out in the second half. Right. Defensively, they did catch you once or twice. That's kind of been the case with a number of teams where you've played really good defense, and it really is just a play here, play there, and that's how you're giving up your points. But defensively, pretty solid most of the night.
Yeah, I felt real good about the defense. We gave up a couple of things, a skinny post over the middle, and our safety was just playing too far off. And, again, that's something we've got to correct. And felt like we were in great position man-to-man on the backside of trips, and they hit us deep one time. We just didn't turn and look for the ball. So all correctable things that we wrote down. I had my team things that we wanted to work on this week. Each position coach had his position things that he wanted to work on, and we've worked on those things, and hopefully we'll be improved on it the rest of the season.
And it seemed like coming out of the locker room just as a team, you got that. I know focus has been the mantra of your season here, but that focus kind of came back coming out of the locker room.
It did. It came back, and we came out focused, dialed in, and did what we were supposed to do. And that's really my only concern the rest of the season is just, are we dialed in? Are we focused in on what we're supposed to do? If we are, one, that's all you can really worry about. You can't worry about anybody else. But two, I feel really good about everybody will play if we are in that position.
We are right at the halfway point, and it's, as you said, kind of funny how it worked out where you've played all your non-region games, break, then region play will take you the rest of the way. How do you feel about your team halfway through here the 2023 season?
I feel really good. I feel like, the effort's been there. Things that we're needing have been there. When it's right, we've been dialed in. Again, we just want to improve on doing that all the time. But yeah, feel really good about the team, feel really good about where we're at and our capabilities.
And again, a lot of things that were new for some of the guys, back end of your defense, new guys along the offensive front. How do you feel halfway through those new guys have filled in and kind of adjusted their roles to your team.
Yeah, the offensive front, obviously the only new person was Ralph Scroggins replacing Charlie Inon, and Ralph has done a tremendous job. Really done well in both the run and pass game, so very, very proud of him. In the secondary, Marquis Williams, Antonio Mann have done a great job, and proud of them. They're continuing to improve and learn some things as they go. When you haven't played a lot, that's what happens. And Mekhi Williams, who played a good bit as a freshman last year in nickel and dime coverages, but did not start as our strong safety, and he's a baller. He's really getting after it. He will strike you. So big potential there. So I'm proud of the guys that have stepped in, somewhat new this year.
When you get a new guy stepping in like that and getting their first kind of playing time, does the pressure more, I don't know if it's pressure, more come from the teammates or for you guys? Because I know a couple years ago you were talking about set the standard, and they're replacing guys who set that standard, who were replacing guys who set that standard, and they're expected to just come in and say, well, hey, it's your job. Go play like the last guy did. I mean, how does that dynamic kind of work on the team with guys who are not only stepping in, but stepping into spots that were, played at a high level?
I think, one, if they're here, that's what they wanted. That's what they signed up for. They came to Benedictine knowing that the championship level is the expectation, and so they're here. That means they want it. And two, if not, it will show, and we'll find somebody else that does. And that's the other thing. You have to have other people, and not, I guess, not in a cruel way, but in a real life sort of way. Like, hey, if you can't get it done, somebody else will. And we have 107 players. Somebody else will get it done.
Do you feel like you've developed some of that depth over these first 5 weeks of the season, where I know you got new guys playing in? Well, who else can make a play if they got to come off the field? Because I know we talk about Bryce every week. Like, he just can't play every play. Right. It's like, have you developed some of those guys in the two deep that you kind of are now getting some confidence in?
We have now, not across the board, totally too deep, and there's the issue. But in certain positions, we have. And as we get closer to, now that we're in region, and certainly as we get closer to playoff time, it may narrow, meaning one guy backs up two, but he could go in and be a legitimate guy if he needs to be. And I hope that makes sense. So we try to have, 22, 33 people, have 11 or 22 people at every special team spot
right
at the beginning of the year, really trying to, weed them out and see who that is. And some guys step up and say, hey, I'm ready for varsity level play. And some guys won't. And that's, but across the board, I feel pretty good about, we found some depth.
You enter into the off week as well, played some really good football teams, and now you get a week off. How does Coach Britt handle the week off?
Yeah, well, one, we felt like it's all about every week's different. I said it after in the post game the other day. Every off week is different according to where it falls, where your team's at, where your mindset is, the schedule you've played. Well, it's been a grueling start to the season. I mean, one, it's just been incredibly hot. We played some really good teams. We had to travel long distances to play some really good teams. So we needed a break. And the coaches needed a break. The kids physically needed a break. So we've taken this week, lifting weights and conditioning some, but also just trying to give them a break, let them heal up. Really haven't physically done anything demanding as far as football. We went out and talked about all the things that we need to corrected them, but again, corrected them without beating them up. It's pointless at this point. So, and then we really did that just Tuesday, Wednesday. Today will be just a light conditioning day. They'll have the weekend, and then Monday it's back to the grind and getting after it full speed. The coaches needed a break from each other a little bit. We spent a lot of time together, and way more time than we spend with our families and at this time of year. And I think everybody needs a break. I know Steph and I are taking a few days to just kind of get away, and the other coaches are too. I think they were all trying to take off from teaching tomorrow, which is hard because it's hard to find subs, but I think they all found some, so they didn't have to come in on Friday, and they can go be with their families and do some special things.
And it's one of those things where, as you said, it's been people say, well, I mean, you're 5 weeks in. It's like, no, you guys have been going since July,
Right.
straight through. And is it to this point where you get to Friday night where you're like, man, I feel like I should be somewhere else, when it's like you kind of not know what to do on Friday when you're there? I know you got to force yourself to go away, I guess.
Yeah, well, and actually we've been doing it since mid-May. I mean, we start the way we do it. We do spring as late as we can so that it never really ends. So we've been getting after it since mid-May. And then, yeah, by this point, this week felt really weird because I was extremely anxious, and then realizing I had plenty of time, because every day is just a rush to get everything done when it's game week, and it's just you just work to get everything done before practice, and then finish everything there, and then it starts all over again. And so yeah, it is kind of weird to do that, and that's why I would go away and just force yourself to put everything down, not think about it, and then can do a little bit of studying for next week, and then Monday we're right back at it.
You and I were talking before the show. You said, hey, whole staff, take the weekend off, get away, do something else other than football. And I was kind of joking with you, like 15, 20 years ago, that would have been unheard of for a team to just say, hey, look, we're not going to go scout anybody. We're not going to go do anything. But now, obviously technology's out there. You don't need to do that.
Yeah, no, you don't. We have Huddle, and you can watch the film. You got Huddle in 3D. I know what we have on our own film. We have 4 different cameras and 4 different camera angles on every play. You don't have to go sit in the stands and watch it. I mean, we do that some too, but we don't have to do that. And believe me, the wives like going away to actual dinner instead of going and eating burgers from a football stadium a lot better, I can assure you.
Do you use this off week to check out your JV, or maybe not watch their game, but check in with those guys and find out who's kind of progressing, so you get a sense of what's to come down the road?
Yeah, so we will. And what we actually had is we had to reschedule a freshman game to yesterday. So our 9th grade went and played Southeast Bullets 9th grade and won 28-0, which we filmed in his own Huddle now. So I will watch that sometime in the next 24 hours, and proud of what they did. And the coaches were excited, and real excited about them. Next week, I'm going to try, because it's our homecoming and we have something going on, I'm going to try to, after our walk-through practice on Thursday, have an inter-squad scrimmage with the freshmen in JV, and just trying to get as much as I can in with those guys. So, yeah, that's part of it. You're just trying to pour into them as much as we can.
Coach Danny Britt joining us here at BowTie Barbecue, and a couple of things to talk about before we step aside, and we'll chat with Bryce Baker and Luke Cromenhawk here at BowTie Barbecue. You mentioned Wilkes Albert having a heck of a season, tackling machine, and probably going to happen next time out. I would, not to jinx it or anything, but he's getting very close to breaking a school record here.
Yeah, Wilkes is 7 tackles away from tying the all-time leading tackler of career record, and 8 tackles away from breaking it. So I would love for him to get that in this next game, and we'll have somebody watching and marking that, and hopefully let me know if he does that, and we'll according to where we're at in the game, and we'll celebrate it, or maybe we'll just do it afterwards. But yeah, I'm proud of him. He's a tackling machine. He loves getting after. He as my dad used to say, that dog will hunt. He will hunt, buddy.
And again, 7 away from tying it, 8 away from breaking the record. And you go back and look at some of the guys that are on that list, some guys that played for you here in the last several years. And Wilkes going to do that. Now, you said, hey, to be fair to some of those, he has played a whole bunch of football, but he also is up there every single Friday night. It seems like 7, 8, 9 tackles a night.
Yeah, he does. He has a lot of tackles, and he really gets after it well. And yes, you're right. His freshman year, he and Bryce came in, and they weren't the starters. We had some older guys, but they would go in and play the majority of the reps. And we played 14 games that year. And then, of course, the next year played 15. Last year played 15. So he's played a lot of games with that. That's okay, too. That's good. That means they're good football players. And True Self Cooper, I think, held the record at that holds the record right now at 382. So excited for that opportunity for Wilkes.
You just sit back and think about that quickly, Coach. All the games you've played, some of these guys might leave BC having played the equivalent of 6 regular seasons of football at the high school level with all the games you've been able to get under your belt.
Without a doubt, yeah, there's a whole lot of extra games there, and that's important. That's huge. That's a lot of extra work, a lot of extra learning and improving. That's really special.
Well, Coach, we enter the off week. We're going to step aside in a moment and chat with a couple of your players, but tell us about what you have going on here in this off week.
Yeah, definitely. The scouting report is always sponsored by Abel Zion and More. We do not have a scouting report this week, obviously, but Abel Zion and More and Associates, independent, free, fee-only financial advisor. They don't sell any products or earn commissions. All of you out there should be following a financial game plan. Contact them to make sure you're on target to reach your goals.
And we are live here at BowTie Barbecue with Coach Danny Britt. We enter the off week. Coach, enjoy that off time. We'll come back and we'll chat with Bryce Baker, Luke Kromenhoek here on the Danny Britt Show on WatchBCSports.com.
BowTie Barbecue has always been a work of passion. It takes time, skill, and a blend of perfect temperature, wood, smoke, and meats. We just took it up a notch. Taste the passion. BowTie Barbecue, 6724 Waters Avenue, Savannah.
Welcome back here to BowTie Barbecue, the Danny Britt Show, as we enter the off week here for the BC Cadets, and we are joined by I've been told you called the playmaker, Bryce Baker. He joins us here on the show, and again, you have been all over the field for BC. What kind of mindset does it take, one, to play defense for Coach Britt, but then also be able to come in on the other side of the ball and produce?
It's more like a winning mindset. Just want to do whatever that's good for the team.
And again, this has been a program where you guys have won a lot of football coming into your senior season. How special has it been to say, hey, this is the last ride for these guys and a chance to possibly get a three-peat out there? Has that been the mindset amongst the seniors on this team?
Really, yes. Just have fun at the same time. And knowing we can't get this back, so just give it our all,
And you've played some tremendous football teams here early on, and talk about. We'll start on the defensive side, where you have been able to make some awesome plays, playing teams like Ware County. And how do you feel like that has prepared you guys for what's to come?
Definitely. We play our first 5 games for out of region, so that pretty much us for like these other teams that's going to be playing in the playoffs. And in the past, we have lost 2 games out of region. Now we 5-0, so that's pretty much an increase.
Absolutely. And again, you've had some tremendous plays. You seem to have a nose for the football, the big interception at the goal line against Westminster, some big tackles so far this year, and some big runs on the first time. How do you seem to know, hey, it's time for me to step up and make a play? I guess the ball finds you in those situations.
Really, I let the game come to me, especially if I'm knowing I'm get the ball on offense. I'm just like, it's a scoring mindset. It's going to either be a first down or it's going to be a touchdown. So that's how I think of it. Defensively, just play like my nose on the ball every time.
And
be around.
Yeah, and you guys fly around on that side of the ball. Offensively, I know you get some limited touches, but, man, you have been able to make the most of it. I think a couple games out, 7 touches, 100 yards on the ground. How does that conversation go during the week? Do you kind of have a game plan for when you think you might be getting in there? Or is it like, hey, now's the time we need you to come in and make a play for us?
Sometimes we scheme a little stuff up, but like a lot of plays I've been scoring off or been basic. So it's all about consistency, being efficient when I get the ball, do what I do.
Having the mindset to play both ways as well, what does that kind of take to be able to do that? I know it's not 80 and 80 taking both ways, but having the mindset to, hey, I've got to know the offensive package and I obviously got to go to the defensive package.
Well, I've been around it for a long time, so it's kind of like, hey, when your name is called, do what you got to do. Like it's more mental than physical. So,
what does it mean to you to play for BC? Obviously, you've had other family members play for BC. You're now playing for BC. What does it mean to you to wear that BC on your chest and play for the Cadets?
Really, I love this school. I ain't gonna lie. I love this school. It's been great to me. It's a blessing, really. To be coached by Coach Britt, it's a blessing to play around my brothers. My brotherhood is a brotherhood. We're all together at all times. Even though we fight some days, we still together. We still gonna love each other. So it means the most to me, really.
Bryce Baker joining us here at BowTie Barbecue. And Bryce, here we are in the off week and in your senior season. What can you tell us about recruiting and some of the things that have been taking place with you there?
Georgia Southern's been on me hard, and that's really it. Georgia Southern is really been on me hard. I'm going to wait and see who's going to take their chances.
I was going to say, and as the season goes on, you continue to make plays. I know that's going to continue. What are people kind of telling? What are you looking for at the next level? Are you looking to be a defensive guy, offensive guy, or you just want to go someplace where you can go play?
Really, I just want to go someplace I can play. I know I'm going to feel good at, feel like home. Of course, Georgia Southern feels like home, but it doesn't feel right now. I hope it does. When they do, I'm going to be patient about it, so I'm going to trust myself.
So we talked to Coach Britt about this. What do the players do in the off week? Do y'all get away from football? Do you go try to find a game somewhere? What do you do in the off week?
Not really. There's no really getting away from football. We try, but we can't. we try to leave the school, but we always at the school when we don't have practice. We're always talking. We're talking for hours and hours. But most definitely, we're gonna find a game to go to, like Calvary and Savannah Christian game.
Oh, that'd be a good one to go to tomorrow night as well. Bryce Baker joining us here in the off week. We are at BowTie Barbecue. Bryce, we appreciate it, man.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
so much.
Thank you.
We will come back and we will chat with Luke Cromenhawk right here on the Danny.
BowTie Barbecue has always been a work of passion. It takes time, skill.
Thank you.
BowTie Barbecue has always been a work of passion. It takes time, skill, and a blend of perfect temperature, wood, smoke, and meats. We just took it up a notch. Taste the passion. BowTie Barbecue, 6724 Waters Avenue, Savannah.
Welcome back here to the Danny Britt Show. We're coming to you live from BowTie Barbecue on Waters, and we are here every Thursday at 12 noon. It's the off week this week for the Cadets, and we are joined by their quarterback, Luke Cromenhawk. Luke, appreciate you stopping by and joining us. Talk about your senior season to this point.
Yes, sir. I'm really happy with how it's going. We're undefeated so far, and the guys are looking good, and we're playing some good football, and we're just getting better and better every day. So, I can't really complain.
Absolutely. You've played some tremendous football, and from your standpoint, Coach Britt has talked about you came in playing safety a little bit, backing up holding, and then he says all the time you've taken that safety mindset to quarterback. How have you kind of put that in there? What does that mean to you when you hear Coach Britt say, hey, he's kind of like a safety playing quarterback for us?
Yes, sir. I mean, Coach Britt's 100% right. I grew up in a defensive household with my dad and my brother, so it's always kind of been ingrained in me to be the hammer, not the nail. So I just try to implement that into my quarterback game, and I guess it's doing pretty well.
How hard is it to dial that back sometimes at quarterback? Because I know they said, hey, we want him to be Luke, but we also got to be smart about it as well. How tough was that to just say, hey, I'm not going to run over this guy this time?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's definitely a struggle. I've gotten in trouble a couple of times with Coach Phillips, telling me to slide. In the beginning, I was kind of skeptical to doing it. I always like to put my shoulder down and run through somebody, but in the long run, I got to stay healthy, and that's most important is staying healthy and being able to play. So, I take the sacrifice sometimes when I run out of bounds.
As a quarterback, what has it been like playing in this offense? Because you've kind of had a little different dynamic than what Holden had, and that's not being disrespectful to him, but you can tuck it, and they've done a lot more design runs for you as well. But they also ask you to spread the ball around in the run game and the pass game. What has it been like to have that kind of dynamic in the offense?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's been awesome. Coach Phillips does a great job of playing to his quarterback strengths. And so he's put some run games in there for me, which has been unbelievable. And then, we got a bunch of skill dudes who can, run amazing routes and get open. So we spread the ball out, and then we can hit people with a run attack too. So I really got to give props to Coach Phillips. I feel like he calls great plays and sets us up for success. So really all the props go to him, and it's awesome to be able to play under him.
As best you can, give us a dynamic, what it's like in the offensive huddle, because at times, I know this year you guys have struggled a little bit, but it also feels like at times when you take the field, it's like at any moment, this thing could go to the house. I mean, how does it feel as the quarterback in that situation, knowing like Bryce takes it, Nasir, wherever we go, we could end up with a house call in this play?
Yes, sir. I mean, you nailed it. We just have so many dudes who can put the ball in the end zone and make big plays happen like that. And even at times when we're struggling, we're never really panicking because we know somebody's going to take over. Somebody's going to get that big play for us. Somebody's going to put the ball in the end zone. So there's never really panic in the huddle with us, and it's a positive huddle. No one's really arguing or anything like that. Like we know we're going to be all right in the long run, and we know somebody's going to make a play for us just because of the ballers we have around us.
And the confidence level, obviously, in the offense seems to be way up there with you guys. Like even when I think at Westminster, it was not really clicking on all cylinders that night, and then you came out and it was like within an instant you guys got it corrected. What's the confidence level like? And even it's like just give it time, we'll be okay. How do you fight through some of those moments of adversity there?
Yeah, it's just we got to give the props to the coaching staff, Coach Britt and Coach Phillips. They put a lot of trust in us, and they kind of let us do our thing. And us as players, we're a tight knit group, and like I said before, we know that it's going to turn around in an instant. We're going to make plays happen just like that. So kind of just staying the course and running the plays that are called and just doing everything right. We have the ability to put the ball in the end zone just like that. So nobody really panics, and everybody really trusts each other.
Luke Cromanhawk joining us here on the Danny Britt Show, and I was talking with Coach Britt when you were playing safety a few years ago, and he said, folks that haven't seen Luke play, he's going to be very, very good. How do you feel you've kind of handled all that's come with that from obviously people in Savannah know what you can do, but nationally you've gotten a lot of attention, highly recruited, going to Florida State. How do you feel like as a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, you've been able to kind of, I guess, take that all in and not let it become bigger than, hey, we're still going to go play on Friday night?
Yes, sir. I'm surrounded by a great support staff. My family, my coaches, my friends, they're always there for me, and they kind of help me lead me down the right way and kind of keep my head on my shoulders. So I got to give them all the props. And then, just keeping the main thing. I feel like, yes, I'm committed to Florida State, but it's Benedictine football right now. I'm solely focused on this team. It's my senior season. Me and Bryce were seniors, and we just want to see the best that this team can do right now. I'm not looking forward to the future of, I'm going to go play at Florida State. This doesn't really matter. No, that's not important. BC football is important, the most important thing to me right now, and it's just being able to have a great season and leading this team and playing the best that I can for this team right now is the main thing for me.
And again, you guys as seniors haven't known anything other than making deep runs. 14 games as a freshman, championship, and a lot of folks talking about that here. What has that been like playing with that, not only with great players, but that expectation of, hey, we're going to be playing in December, and I know people will be starting to say at a lot of schools, hey, you got 5 games left, where you guys are probably sitting there saying, we expect to have 10 games left. What has it been like to kind of play with that as the overall focus of it's been championship, and that's what y'all are trying to do again?
Yes, sir. It's been unbelievable. Coach Britt does a great job of getting the guys ready and prepared for that. And, every year it's, hey, Mom, listen, we got practice on Thanksgiving. That's the goal. Like, we're going to practice on Thanksgiving. We're not going to be around for that. So just plan for that because, just the talent that we have here and the coaching staff that we have here, we fully expect to make a deep run, and we expect to go to the state championship now. And, that's because the coaches, they ingrain that in us during summer workouts. And, they push us harder than a lot of other teams are pushed. And, just as players too, like the leaders and everybody else holds each other accountable. And, we push each other to be the best that we can be. And I feel like that's why we end up making these deep runs.
So what is Luke Cromanhawk doing in the off week?
I'm definitely going to rest. It couldn't have come at a better time for me. I was a little banged up here and there, taking some hits, but just kind of just resting the body up, making sure everything's all right, getting back on my feet, and then kind of just focusing on the little things. Us as a whole team, that's kind of what we're doing. The coaches are giving us a little break at practice. It's not as hard as it usually is, but we're doing the little things right. That's what we're trying to get right now is making sure that we're doing the little things right. Making sure that we're blocking well and all that stuff. So coaches are definitely working still. They're still working with us and making sure we're doing that stuff right. But other than that, I'm gonna be resting a lot.
What's the we asked Bryce, so I'll ask you, what's been I guess the weirdest thing about the recruiting process for you? I know you were been with Florida State for a long time, but obviously it's you go from, hey, I'm a kid playing 9th grade and all of a sudden I got stuff coming from every direction, and you've been with Florida State for a while. What's that recruiting process been like for you?
I had a great recruiting process. Thankfully I found my spot early on, and I was able to commit early on, and I felt really, really good about it. and I still feel really, really great about it. But I would say probably the craziest thing is a lot of people don't realize, like, having these coaches text you and call you, it's like you're having a girlfriend. Like, I mean, even now with the Florida State coaches, I mean, Coach Tokart's the quarterback coach. It's every day, you know, a phone call, a FaceTime, or text, just checking in. What's the family doing? He's showing me what he's eating for dinner. It's like having a girlfriend. So that's what a lot of people don't realize, but, you know, you get used to it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of those things where people have said you try to enjoy it while you're in the moment because it's something most people just don't get to experience. And I imagine it has been nuts, because I guess people haven't quit trying to talk to you, even though you're like, hey, I'm going to Florida State. I mean, they're going to keep texting and saying, hey, what's up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For sure. For sure. But, you know, I was lucky to find my place early, and, you know, I wasn't super, like, in love with the whole recruiting process, going and getting visits, going to all these places and taking pictures and stuff. That really wasn't my thing. I kind of just, you know, wanted to find a spot where I was happy at and kind of just, you know, get it over with kind of, and then just focus on the main thing, which is my high school career right now.
Do you have plans to go to a Florida State game here this season? Or
Yes, sir. I think I'm going to go up there next week, or down there next week. Sorry. But yeah, I'm going to go down there next week. It's been a little bit since I've been there and seen them, so I feel like I got to show my face.
Absolutely. I asked Bryce, so I'll ask you here to end things. What has it meant to you? Obviously, your brother played here. You got a chance to play with your brother at BC, but what does it mean to you to play for BC, and what has that process, that whole experience meant to you?
Yes, sir. I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything more. You know, as a little kid around, you know, coming to the little BC camps and stuff, the sports camps, all I ever wanted to do was, you know, be a successful football player at Benedictine. And, you know, for that dream to come true, it's been an honor. And, you know, the BC community has, you know, welcomed me with open arms, and they've been amazing. And, you know, really couldn't ask for a better place to play at.
Better football player, you or your brother? Just straight up football.
Straight up football. I'm going to go my brother. Yeah, I felt like he was a little overlooked in the recruiting process. I mean, he's grown to be an absolute animal now. I mean, you should see him. He's ginormous. But just overall, I've never seen anyone have a mindset like him on the football field. It's actually crazy. I mean, it's crazy what he'll do. And then just his work ethic is off the charts. I mean, all he wanted to do was play football, and I'm going to have to say he's the better football player.
Okay, we'll go with that for now, and enjoy the off week as you guys get ready to play region play next week. We'll be back here on Thursday getting ready for New Hampstead as the cadets enter region play. That'll do it for this week's edition of the Danny Britt Show. We'll see you next time right here on WatchBCSports.com.